there, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. My name is Mr. Dogbout333, and welcome back to Hearts of Iron 4, Kaiserreich, as the Kingdom of Poland. Now, last video, we went ahead, and we worked on stabilizing our economy. We're about to kick off our second 4-year plan, actually, to try to revitalize things. Hopefully it can go well. I'm going to check my construction. We're building stuff, technically. We're slowly putting bricks. We have one guy putting a brick at a time on a building. We'll eventually build a factory, but the less consumer good factories we have... Ooh, Huey Long's winning. Interesting. But the less consumer goods we have, the better off we'll end up being, methinks. We could do a German investment plan. The political power is very, very tempting, I'm not going to lie, but I think I want to try to avoid that if we can. Warsaw becoming a highly urbanized region is tempting. I do think I want to start these rural literacy camps. Campaigns, rather, camps. We don't want to talk about camps in Poland. That's a very uncomfortable idea. But campaigns, I think we're okay with. Slightly more comfortable. Well, it depends on the campaign, I suppose. Anyhow, much of our rural population was never able to receive any form of education. This has gone a long way to entrenching the economic divides and advancement problems in our nation. In a bid to remove the barriers many rural individuals experience due to their lack of education, we will intensify efforts to eliminate rural illiteracy across our nation. While it may prove costly, it is hoped that it will pay off in the long run. Well, we can hope. Our stab is not very good, but yeah, the A&I is winning. That's interesting. Yet again, we come across pamphlets repeating Roman Dmowski's hateful words being shared in villages, slums, and even in churches. Much of it's been printed by legal Indejka newspapers. Gazeta Wolna Wazawska. Close enough. But their network of underground prints have proven too elusive to crush entirely. Dmowski, the director of his propaganda campaign, has written another fire and brimstone essay calling for a national uprising and throwing off the yoke of a Prussian tyrant. The most worrying part is that many seem to be impressed in his promises of a truly Polish and Catholic nation, free of impurities and poverty. What nonsense. So, we have to complete the second 4-year plan, and I'm guessing that's about 4 years. If we complete that, we get political power and stability. If not, we lose monarchy popularity. It actually isn't too much of a loss. But we do get some solid... we urbanize Kielce, which is over here, I'm guessing. Which I think that's going to be a good idea. Urbanized region versus urbanizing region. Okay. So, I was trying to figure out where we could check that. Because I know, like, this one would make Warsaw highly urbanized. I'll go ahead and ask a question to any Polish people who are watching. It's not going to be about the pronunciations, although I should ask a little about that, because I know I'm fucking those up. I'm looking at going to Europe this upcoming fall semester. And I'm going to be studying in Ireland. That's the goal. But I do know that there are a few cheap flights through Ryanair to different parts of Europe. Poland is one of them. And so I'm looking for any and all suggestions of places to go in Poland, or really anywhere, cheap flights. I guess this goes out to anyone specifically, but I have a feeling I'm going to get a fair amount of Poles coming in, so if you have any suggestions, because I would like to visit Poland while I'm there, please give me... I'll take any ideas you have, you know? Just let me know, you know? I'll take your suggestions. Oh, shit. Liberal victories. Oh, Jesus. The Kingdom of Poland has been stable as it is, largely because of the support from the political center and moderate liberals. The promise has always been constitutionalism and adherence to democracy, even if it's guided by the king, which has kept Poland relatively democratic. Unfortunately, this has also enabled the political opposition to organize in the open, to grow in strength and to radicalize. Some among the right wing of a circle believe that our past support for democracy was a mistake, and that Poland is doomed to fall into revolutionary fanaticism should the opposition continue their anti-monarchist agitation on both the left and right of the political spectrum. Normally, members of a SEM have legal immunity during their tenure, but there are a number of ways to circumvent this constitutional check and enable the National Committee of Safety to persecute the leadership of disloyal parties. We could stack the courts to lift immunity, dismiss the SEM outright, or just kind of do nothing. Yeah, I'm just gonna do nothing on that. Mainly because I don't want to lose the political power. That's really my main worry. I think I'll go ahead and investigate the church. Ooh, Madrid is falling. That's favoring the Carlists. Interesting, because I don't usually see the Carlists win, and they seem to be kicking ass right now. Got an encirclement off over there. I mean, I'll be honest, it always kind of confuses me. Who does, well, where, sometimes. But, creates variety, so I'm not going to complain. There's quite a stir in Warsaw today as philosopher Jan Stachnuk held a rally declaring his intention of creating a new mass party to win elections and heal Poland. Stachnuk declared that a new great war is coming, one that will destroy Poland once it frees itself from the chains of Christianity and modernity. What he termed Zagrugism is a belief that Christianity was created by the Jews. Has only set Poland back, and only through liberation from Christianity and return to the old Slavic faith can the Poles become true to themselves. According to him, in an ideal world, society will not be organized through the state's coercion, but rather through the sheer will and morale of a people, who will form once classless superculture. In his declaration, he's managed to both anger both the left and the right. Well, it's original, at least. Some Hyperborea shit. But a little stability, so I won't complain there. I don't want to touch that. Honestly, just grabbing political power and forming the Königsschule. I mean, the building slots would be nice, but we'll get building slots anyway, I think. The reduction of Polish influence is going to be kind of sucky. Not going to lie. And we get political power from this anyway. The reduction of PP for investigations, though, would be nice. Might want to wait to do this before I did more investigations. Although, if we get down to here, it's going to cost 20 less no matter what. Although, this would make them free to do. But how far are we going to get to them anyway? Questions. I got plenty of them. I'll think of this a little bit more. For now, let's modernize urban infrastructure. Many of our cities are old, and their infrastructure reflects this. A combination of age and underfunding has made the cities seem archaic. Many public services and housing are either at their limits or crumbling. A series of ambitious plans have been drafted to completely revitalize Poland's urban areas and their services. So we get Warsaw upgrade a highly urbanized region, an additional base building slot, and a bunch of other stuff to top that off. How was Black Monday looking? It's not good, but not bad either. The police stumbled upon an alarming find, a cache of old Weltkrieg-era rifles hidden hidden in an obscure warehouse in the outskirts of Warsaw. We have some suspects who could be investigated for possession of these firearms, and possibly even for planning an armed revolution. These are not the first hidden guns that we have found during the past few years, as it is becoming increasingly clear that the socialist underground is smuggling and producing weapons for their doomed battle. As long as we stay one step ahead of them and crush these seeds of revolution in the crib, the king should have nothing to worry about. Start making arrests. I don't think I mind if what ends up happening either way, necessarily. But the initial idea was to become a socialist. So I want to at least start leaning towards that. The Catholic Church in Poland is perhaps the strongest institution after the state and the military, and is not to be meddled with for good reason. However, we have information detailing long and continuous contacts with church officials, even men as highly ranked as bishops, in the National Democrats' exile leadership. It is no surprise that many among the church support Roman Dmowski's thoughts to have received the German king Gong. But in general, the church has been willing to cooperate with the kingdom in exchange for the royal patronage. The entire topic is divisive within the committee, with many members hoping to focus on the socialists instead. The traitors can't hide behind the faith. The secret police were able to uncover proof that numerous men of the church's administration have been funneling funds into Vindeja's illegal publishing operations. The evidence also shows that church organizations have helped to distribute anti-monarchist literature and leaflets. This is worrisome, as interfering with the church is walking on thin ice, as they have the hearts and minds of many Poles on their side. Moving against them can be risky, both for our popularity and the stability of our ruling coalition, but then again, if we don't act, the church will continue harboring the Dmowskiites and other traitors. We could play the Germans, but I don't want to lose political power. Well, we have to be very careful. The Christian Democrats in our coalition have protested strongly against our witch hunts against them, with the Prime Minister being accused of being a German lackey and trying to destroy the Polish nation and its traditional institutions. Josef Szczecinski, the chairman of the CHZJN, has threatened that his party will withdraw their parliamentary support from the current government should we continue the investigations into their party or their church's administration, which would be catastrophic for us, especially as close as we are to the election. We might be able to persuade them with a number of ministerial positions and favorable policy adjustments that will not sit well with the more liberal wing of our own party. However, the alternative is that a minority government hung parliament, as the MKP does not have enough delegates for any kind of majority. This would effectively freeze the SEM until the elections, but for some, it's a preferred alternative giving into their demands. I guess we're ruling without them. Well, fuck me. This has gone horribly. I have a shattered coalition. But we're modernizing our infrastructure. Fourth Balkan War. Fuck off. CHZJN aligned politicians have typically refrained from any harsh criticism of the king since our cooperation following the 34 elections, but their critiques have increased ever since the end of our coalition, citing the influence of General Guderian and perceived economic concessions to Berlin. These statements have sparked some alarm among the court, and privy councilors have called for silence of the agitators. You know what? Let them talk. I need the political power. Got quite a few options. You know what? I think I will go ahead and form the Königstreue. The King August has always surrounded himself with a significant number of advisors, many of whom represent the interests of German business and social leaders. These figures have long been pushing to have their place at the King's ear institutionalized, protect their positions going forward. While this decision will not be popular among Poles left on the outside, they have promised certain kickbacks in return for support from the palace, which is desperately needed in this time. Yeah, no kidding. We'll hold off to do any more investigations until we finish that up, because that's going to make it cheaper, among many other things. Mexico's joining the Entente. That is interesting. We'll stabilize with Loti, because that'll give us some extra political power. Net total. Mongol aristocrats take Mongolia. The raid on Miscellany and the subsequent trials of young radical Dobosninsky remains fresh in the minds of nationalist Poles across the kingdom and has thus invited imitators. Small groups of far-right nationalists, barely armed and hardly trained, begun instigating their own protests, raids, and acts of violence, rarely with success. The town of Sikov was supposed to be a second Miscellany. Over 60 men, half of them armed, arrived at the town at night, aiming to cut telephone lines and begin a pogrom. However, to their surprise, the town was not defenseless. A small group of veterans of the Weltkrieg were visiting the town and immediately took arms. And when they realized that something was amiss. In a quick firefight, the nationalist militias fled the town after several of their members were taken out before they could even register what was going on. As inhabitants of the town report after the fact, veterans introduced themselves as the Opera House. A small band with no purpose left but to defend their homeland against all threats. Though most of them were men, they were supposedly led by a woman, Yolanta Rovska. Who she or the Opera House are remain a mystery. Tabloids have run the story that it's actually a clandestine regiment of a Dvolska, tasked to eliminate opponents of monarchy. Who is this Queen of the Opera? Polish Socialist Party convened today in the old fortress city of Radom to elect new members, a number of new delegates, to the Central Workers' Committee, which makes up the party's leadership. Many feel that the choice of city is highly symbolic, with the date nearing the 75th anniversary of the January uprising, reminding everyone of how long the city had stood against the Tsarist armies. One can quickly notice the increased police presence in the streets of a well-preserved medieval city center, as members of the PPS gathered together from all around the kingdom. Some old delegates, such as Mieczyslav's Niedzielkowski, one of the men behind building the Central Alliance, has announced their retirement from local life. Under his guidance, the PPS's direction has been towards moderation reformism, seeking the united opposition front as the best method of influence. There are two men generally seen as his successors, another moderate Central politician, Norbert Barlicki, and Niedzielkowski's personal friend and Barlicki's protege, the more radical Stanislaw Dubois. The right wing of the party, wishing deepened ties with PSL, has thrown their support behind Barlicki's faction, who is also a former PSL member. However, there's an ever-growing left-wing feeling that the party leadership has betrayed their supporters by restricting truly revolutionary action, and that the PPS must return to its roots, personified in Dubois, a young orator and a title supporter of strike action as a weapon of the proletariat. Needless to say, the upcoming vote will decide this direction of the PPS for years to come. We'll do the left wing of the party takes power. Radical Stanislaw Dubois, supported by France, will take control of the PPS. Gives us some extra political power? Oh, never mind. The vote was a close one, and possibly the most intense in decades. After hours of debate and arguments from both sides, the victor finally emerged. Ultimately, supporters of Stanislaw Dubois won the day. The outcome prompted the outrage among the more moderate members of the party. Many fear that Dubois' bold rhetoric will irritate the royal authorities even further. Dubois vowed to renew the party's vigor and take a more uncompromising stance towards a monarchy, which he sees as a wholly undemocratic in nature. It seems Polish politics will have quite a leftward shift. The bickering of fools does not concern His Majesty. Not yet. The king and his family have taken a holiday in his forced retreat. leaving Warsaw for a more peaceful corner of the country. He had a small mansion built for himself and his family some years ago near the idyllic village of Zalucha Stary in southeastern Poland. It's well known how the king has no enthusiasm for most matters of state, and his absence will not cause many issues to the everyday running of government. Despite August's distant relationship with Queen Alexandria, the pair seemed happy to be able to distance themselves from court life for some time. The royal family is expected to stay in Zalucha Stary for a week, a time in which both Augusta and Alexandra are expected to be immersed in their shared artistic hobbies, such as the painting of flower arrangements. Doesn't he have anything more important to do? Evidently not. Well, go ahead and end that here, folks. Thanks for watching, friends. If you like this video, leave a like. If not, feel free to dislike. If you have any comments, feedback, concern, leave in the comment section below. I read all comments and appreciate any feedback you might have for me. If you want to send a few bucks my way, check out my Patreon, check out my Discord as well, or my second channel, or my Twitch. All down in the description box below. If you want to keep up to date with uploads or anything like that, hit the sub button, even hit the notification bell if you want to really stay up to date. I'm just a little bit all over the place, I'm noticing, but that's okay. I think I got everything. Other than this, my name has been Mr. Dog About 33. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.